One day I took the chalk piece and ran to the blackboard and it drew my bum on the back on the blackboard. And I told them, "This is my background." They laughed because they asked me what is my background. From the day I came, people have been asking the same question. Your name? And I said nameless. They couldn't understand. And it continued even now also. They used to ask me from where I come from. I said, do you know from where you come from? If you know, your answer is also mine. They used to ask me your mother tongue. I used to tell it's in my mother's mouth. The drama continued, yes. And with all this drama, I found people who are not very serious to find your background or your name or from what religion and caste you came from. When I refused to say also, they did not leave me. What they were looking is into your hardest, passionately in love with your work. Almost the whole of Indiranagar, almost every house has got one of my students. Yes, grown big. And when I started the Rakum School for the Blind, that has contributed. Almost every house we knew him with all these troubles, even though his office was demolished, his things were thrown into the street. Yes. All this happened. We were homeless, officeless, moneyless, and still we went to several parks on the road, on the center of the road. We took classes. We ran. And even though I traveled around the world, kept on coming back to Bangalore city in Indiranagar without leaving Indiranagar. That contributed. Yes, I remember I was going to house in Indiranagar to give my pamphlets. And many houses told me, "Oh, Master Ji, please do not come." I said, "If I do not come, then you have to come." That made them to come. Yes, that's how the school was running without any state government support, central government support, foreign support. No aid from any state or central or foreign aid. Only on pure love from the public, yes. Zen story, dried dung. A monk asked Ummon, what is Buddha? Ummon answered him, dried dung. And as I was deeply involved in the cow and the cow dung and all the things, I can understand this answer of Ummon so beautifully. And suppose somebody asks to the Hindu Brahmin priest or to the Hindu Swamiji, what is Krishna? And if the Swamiji answers it's cow dung, there could have been a flare up. But the Zen masters are so sweet. Ummon answered dried dung because Ummon was deeply involved with cows and the cow dung. And the dried cow dung he used to construct the classrooms and the houses. And in India, it is a way of life for the cow dung to be dried and used as fire to cook the food. A monk asked Ummon, what is Buddha? Ummon answered him, dried dung. The cow's dung, the dried dung is powdered, sometimes kept it in a covers, and we used to sell it for 10 rupees a packet for a kilo. And we found out this cow dung is so powerful, almost around the world for every plants, every fruit bearing trees, every tree which have to have the bark properly, the teak trees or the sandalwood, all goes with this cow dung. And when the cow dung is the manure, it looks dirty, but when you dry it up, it is not that dirty. But when you put it up, The dried dung melts with the soil, and it is one of the best food. The trees gives enough leaves and branches for you to sit under the shade. It protects you from the massive big wind, and then it gives you enough leaves. That leaves can be useful for the cows, for the human beings, for the different varieties of puja. The branches, the dried branches are used as cooking. Yes. And the cow dung also is dried to be used for cooking, even to create floors for the Indian houses. Most of the houses are cow dung houses. Yes. What is Buddha? He said dried dung. Is not that Buddha. Buddha means the God. If God cannot give you fruit, just the dried dung. Inside the dried dung also lives God. And Ummon, Buddha explained to Buddha in much better way. There is no need to explain. All that explanations are really creating chanchalya. It goes on a vicious circle of philosophy and philosophers. If there is a philosopher and philosopher, there is a doctor who is called a psychiatrist and psychologist, and people all live in madness, talking gibberish from the borrowed knowledge of the books. Ummon Zen-Dried Dung means whatever is doing, if that is not God, that means Ummon, what he is trying to tell is, whatever you do, you get deeply involved. You see yours reflecting from the mirror. Yes, the purity of that work is the mirror. If you are deeply involved, you can only see mirrors so beautifully reflecting. You can see the God in that. Yes, the purity of that work itself is that answer. First of all, a question don't need an answer because the question has to be dropped. So there won't be question and answer. It is only your understanding, your feelings for that. A monk asked Ummon, what is Buddha? Ummon answered him, dried dung. Such a beautiful is the answer. It can come only from the deepest core of the highest understanding of a master who has got deeply involved. If somebody is sitting with his wife and somebody asks him, what is goddess? He can say, my wife, my children. If you cannot understand that love, you cannot understand God. Moses sir wants to go on Sunday to the church. And when I had a lot of work in the boys' hostel, I asked Moses, why do you want to go to the church? He said, because it's Sunday. I asked Moses, why do you want to go to the church? He said, because I want to pray. I said, Moses, why do you want to go to church? Because we are Christians. Why do you want to go to the church, Mr. Moses? He said, we are pure Christians. No, Moses. I am asking a question. Moses understood. I said, when you go to the church or the temple of the masjid to pray together, the family sits together, prays go. You're going there so that you can interact with the family. A deep, intimate relationship with the family, like the Japanese business meetings. They are going there to pass the resolution only to praise, only to all other times to hug and laugh and jump and create a strong foundation. You are going there. You went there for what? For getting a job for your livelihood. You got a job. Now your job is the church. Only when the job place has got a holiday, then you rush up to the church. Otherwise, whatever job you're doing, you have to send 2% to the church. You'll make sure to whom to help. But there are a lot of people coming to the church for help. And if that help is very close to Jesus, that help is very close to Krishna or Allah. If not that, what is? A monk asked Ummon, what is Buddha? Ummon answered him, my family. Ummon answered him, the dried dung is my joint family. Ummon answered him, the family tree is the greatest dung which has created the most beautiful fruits.